Welcome back to my channel, Hidden Points. Today, we enter the mind of the people pleaser, the person who smiles while suffering inside, gives until they're empty, apologizes for breathing, and never asks for what they truly want. From the outside, the people pleaser looks kind, helpful, and easy to be around. Yet inside their mind, there is a constant pressure to earn love and approval through perfect behavior and constant self-sacrifice. The first truth about the people pleaser is that this pattern doesn't begin in adulthood. It forms when a child learns that love is conditional and affection must be earned. The safest way to survive emotionally is to make everyone around them comfortable and satisfied, even if it costs their own needs and their own identity. This child grows into an adult who cannot say no because saying no feels like rejection, and rejection feels like danger. Danger feels like the collapse of everything familiar. So the people pleaser builds their personality around being agreeable, helpful, and supportive, even at the expense of their own boundaries and desires. This pattern becomes automatic and unconscious. They don't realize they are betraying their inner world every day because they have learned to exist through others instead of through themselves. The people pleaser tends to mirror the emotions and expectations of those around them because they were trained to adapt quickly and avoid emotional conflict at all costs. When someone raises their voice or withdraws affection, the people pleaser immediately assumes it's their fault and begins adjusting their behavior to fix the situation. Their self-worth is tied to making others happy. This psychological pattern is rooted not in weakness, but in survival. At some point in their early life, pleasing others felt like the only path to safety, acceptance, and belonging. Even as adults, people pleasers fear confrontation because it threatens the illusion that everything is peaceful and predictable. Many people pleasers have a deep fear of abandonment, so they overgive, over-apologize, and over-accommodate. They believe that if they are perfect enough, no one will leave them. People pleasers often become experts at reading subtle emotional signals, body language, and tone shifts. Their mind is trained to detect even the smallest sign of disappointment, and they adjust instantly to avoid conflict, because conflict activates old childhood fears. The people pleaser carries a heavy burden. They have learned to comfort everyone except themselves. Their outer kindness hides inner exhaustion, resentment, and loneliness because they give endlessly without receiving in equal measure. Another psychological truth is that people pleasers struggle with identity. They rarely ask themselves what they want, who they are, or what they truly feel. Their sense of self becomes blurry and flexible, shaped entirely by the expectations of those around them. They may not even notice when their boundaries are crossed because they were never taught that boundaries are allowed, healthy, and necessary. Their mission in life becomes maintaining harmony, even if it destroys their own well-being. The people pleaser often believes that being needed is the same as being loved. So, they take on emotional roles in friendships and relationships, becoming the caretaker, the helper, the listener, and the emotional anchor. Yet they rarely receive the same support in return, because they communicate their needs and allow others to care for them in the same way. This creates an invisible cycle of emotional imbalance, where the people pleaser feels unappreciated yet continues giving. Because giving is the only role they know how to play. The greatest fear of the people pleaser is disappointing someone. Disappointment feels like failure, and failure feels like losing love. Losing love feels like losing safety. Their nervous system reacts strongly to even small hints of disapproval. So, people pleasers overthink every conversation and replay every interaction. Worrying that they said something wrong or hurt someone without realizing it, this constant self-monitoring becomes mentally exhausting and emotionally draining. And yet, the people pleaser hides this exhaustion behind a warm smile because vulnerability feels dangerous. Asking for help feels selfish, and sharing their true feelings feels like a burden to others. The people pleaser does not know how to simply exist without giving something in return. This creates a life where they are surrounded by people yet feel deeply alone because no one knows their true self. Another painful truth is that people pleasers attract individuals who take advantage of their giving nature. Because the pleaser rarely sets limits, they become the emotional sponge for others, absorbing stress, problems, and emotional chaos that is not theirs to carry. Even when they feel drained and overwhelmed, they still can't walk away because they fear being seen as uncaring. The people pleaser confuses loyalty with self-abandonment and kindness with self-sacrifice. This leads to hidden resentment, emotional burnout, and a quiet grief for all the parts of themselves they have silenced and ignored for years. Many people-pleasers secretly fear expressing anger because anger feels unsafe and unfamiliar. Instead of releasing their emotions, they swallow them. This creates inner tension and sadness because they do not feel permission to express their full humanity. The road to healing for the people-pleaser begins with one powerful realization. Their worth is not tied to how well they meet the expectations of others. They do not need to earn love through endless giving. They are allowed to take up space. They are allowed to have needs. They are allowed to say no and still be deserving of love and acceptance. The people-pleaser must learn that boundaries are not walls, but doors that protect their energy and truth. It is not their job to prevent the discomfort of others, because discomfort is part of life and does not mean rejection. When the people-pleaser stops performing emotional labor for everyone, they begin reconnecting with their true self, the self that has been buried under years of pleasing, shaping, and adapting. The self that has desires, dreams, opinions, and emotions of its own. As the people-pleaser heals, they learn to speak honestly without fear and to express needs without shame. They learn to let others take responsibility for their own emotions and to allow themselves to receive support instead of giving it endlessly. They learn that real relationships do not require perfection, but authenticity and mutual respect. When the people-pleaser transforms their inner world, they discover a truth they have never known before, that they are enough simply by existing. They do not need to earn love, because love does not need to be earned. And for the first time in their life, their mind begins to rest. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe for more content. See you next time.